Welcome to the conversation today. Oh my goodness, can you believe that's already Tuesday? Okay, so today we're going to continue talking about how can we support our students in at the end of the semester. And today we're going to talk about a skill that is, oh my goodness, so important, and one that I'm sure that you can you would acknowledge is something that we use all the time. We all use it all the time. It is the idea of self-advocacy skills, and how do we help our teens, our students who are still developing. Remember, adolescence, it's when the frontal cortex is developing because our brains develop from the back to the front. How do we get them to think about advocating for themselves, which means they're going to need to know what they're doing, who they are, what they need, and then how to ask for that. Love this quote from Mr. Rogers, beloved Mr. Rogers, who says, you know, even when we're trying to do the best we can, sometimes we fall, life isn't perfect and it's really, really hard. And so we have to make do with who we are, what we have, which is not a weakness. We just have to be super kind to ourselves and know what can we do, what's beyond what we can do, and how do we ask for help when we need it. We do that through self-advocacy. So a lot of times you hear the term self-advocacy when we talk about learners that have different learning needs, but really people who know how to advocate for themselves have a lifelong trait and a skill that is going to take them so far, because you know what your needs are and you know how to communicate them to others. So as the adults in our teens' lives, it's not our job, but it's a really good idea if we help them acquire these skills so that they not only can talk about what they need in school, post-secondarily, like, what are you going to do after this? Where are you going to go? Whatever they choose to do after they leave Stevenson High School, they're going to need to be able to say, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I can't do. And it's really important for everybody to understand under what circumstances do you learn best? Do you function best? Do you collaborate best, right? And because when you know how you do things best, you know what your optimal environment is, it is easier for you not to be like, everybody needs to do what I want to do. Everybody needs to act the way I want to act. But it's easiest for you then to look at the situation and say, this is a situation. It's not fitting what I need to do, but how can I work best in it to make sure that I get what I need to do the best I can, right? To put my best foot forward. So the most important thing is students need to understand, what do I need, right? And then set realistic goals for themselves and realistic time management expectations. How can we know what our goals for our students are? Get on Canvas, ask your student to make you an observer on Canvas so that you know what's coming up in the next week. Look at the interactive report card to say what has been done. Are there missing assignments? And how can your student demonstrate their learning so that they can achieve the goals that they want, right? If they have like tons, here's the other thing. Some of our teachers have a lot of assignments, but they might be missing when you look at the interactive report card. If that's the case, it's a time for you to have an open-ended conversation with your student about, hey, were these things that needed to be handed in? Were they optional? And then if they were optional, tell me what you were thinking about. Did you feel like you knew what was going on, right? And that you didn't need to hand it in. If their progress reflects their goal for their learning, great. If their goal for their learning is in one place, but their progress is demonstrating something else, then there's something that's not working. So that's a good time for you to talk about time management and goals. Because what's really important, and we've talked about this before, is like, how can we support our students in their learning, in their studying? And so you may have students that are taking this weekend, because next week is the end of the semester. And so they may be taking this week to do a lot of studying and stuff. So a good thing is to have a conversation with your team to say, how do you learn best? Are you okay trying to learn when there's music going on? Are you best when you're in a quiet environment? Do you like super bright environments? Do you like a little bit, something where you have side lamps? Like in my office, I don't use the upper lights because the fluorescent lights give me a headache. That's not important to this, but it may be something that is important to your student, right? Your student may not like a lot of bright lights, but might like a lamp next to them because that's the kind of light they work at best. Maybe they like to have headphones in. Maybe they like to not have headphones, but then the house has to be quieter. So what can be done to mitigate any kind of challenges that your student or obstacles may have toward getting their work done? So one way to model that is to have that conversation with your student around what works best for you in learning. How do you learn best? Where are the challenges or the obstacles that you see? And then how can that be changed? So if it's something like in a classroom where, I sit next to loud people or whatever, and I don't know how to ask my teacher to move me, you can role play with your student and say, okay, well, how would you ask? What do you think? So what you want to do is talk to them about, where do you see a barrier is? First, they have to identify what they do well, then what might be a barrier to doing, to getting, to achieving what they want. And then how can they talk about, what do I need to get done, what I need to get done, right? So understanding what do you need to do, and then how can you help, or what needs to be done. Then once your student has an idea of what needs to get done, and what do I need to do, then, and what works best for me, then you, as the adult in their life, can help them locate the resources that they need to get that done. So if you've gone in an Infinite Campus, then there's a lot of missing assignments, and they're assignments that you're not sure if they're graded or they're not graded. You can sit next to your teen and say, hey, maybe you should write to that classroom teacher and find out if there's still an opportunity to hand these missing assignments in, right? You're not writing the email, your student is writing the email. They're advocating for themselves. If there's something that your student needs from the teacher, that student is writing to the teacher. Now, if you want to be in on the conversation, and you want to know what the teacher says back, ask your student to copy you. But remember, this is a time when you're building self-advocacy skills with your student. You are teaching your student a skill that they will take for a long time. It's like riding a bike. You don't take your kid out on the street one day and say, your student, and say, okay, go ride a bike, and they just learn it. It's a skill that you learn little by little. So self-advocacy skills is really hard for a lot of us, because like right now, the self-advocacy thing that we might be dealing with is, do you wear a mask or not? When you're around people, do you wear a mask or not? And it's that getting over the hump of, do I feel confident enough to say to the people I'm with, I need this to do better? Remember, that takes a lot of courage. And so you, as the adult in your teen's life, can be there to help them, to support them, to say, hey, what do you need? So easiest way to ask for help is this. Say they they're working on homework or they're trying to get an assessment done, summative assessment. They get to a point and they can't get any farther. Easiest way to do this is who can help you, right? Clarify who can help you. Who is the resource, right? Who do I need to contact? Then what do I need from that content? Really, really clear. What do I need and by when? If it's by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and it's midnight, that's going to be tough, right? Because their person is probably asleep. But if they say, I understand that I'm asking for this resource and there's not a lot of time, that acknowledges that, right? And is polite. So who can help you? What do you need from them? What kind of timing is there? Also, don't forget that there may be resources outside the school to help. You know, there may be an online tutoring or like an online source or something, or there may be a class, a classroom, another student in the class that might be able to help. When they figured out who can help them, they can reach out to the person from whom they're asking for help. Now, some people say you shouldn't ask for help because, pardon me, that makes a person feel like less than. You can ask for assistance. However you want to phrase it, however you makes your teen feel most comfortable and most like they're in control of a situation. Remember yesterday, we talked a lot about stress and how you feel stress. You feel stress when it's something new and you don't feel in control. So what we want to do is in the self-advocacy, when we're talking about self-advocacy, we want to try to help our teens feel as in control as possible. And your role is helping them navigate through that. So now they're going to ask for support from someone. The way they do that is they identify we know who they're going to ask for. If it's a tutor or the classroom teacher, and you say, hey, person, as respectfully as possible, I need help. What do you need help with? Very clear. How far have you gotten before you needed the help? Where did you get? So to say I need help on last night's homework, or I can't do this summative assessment, it's probably a big assessment. Like that's a big question. But if you can narrow down, I got to this point and I can't seem to get beyond this point. Can you help me with that? Really focuses in on what do they need to do? What it makes your student do is review how far have I gotten. It helps the teacher or tutor or whoever's going to help them with, oh, okay, so you've gotten this far. And they may ask some clarifying questions back, but at least they know okay, this is how far you need to go. And then, can you help me? And sort of a solution, like, can you email me, or can I meet in your office tomorrow morning, or can I, right? So there's like, when can we meet? What can we do? So there's how far I've gotten. This is what I need help with. This is how far I've gotten and this is what I've gotten up to now. What small step do I need to do to move forward? Can I meet with you? Can you clarify this question? Right? So they know they're really reflective in what they need to do, and they know what they're asking for, because to say, I don't understand the homework, or I don't understand, that's not helping. It's not helping them identify where they're needing the help, which is a big part of the skill, but it's also really global for whoever there's asking for the help, right? And everybody, you got to remember that everybody's going through the same sort of, what am I doing? It helps your student also identify their strengths, which is really important, that they remember that they have all these strengths, because asking for assistance or for help, remember we said it puts you on the defensive a little bit. It's difficult. So your role in it is to help them identify what they're doing and then help them ask for help in a respectful way, right? They are feeling stressed. They need help. They don't know what they're doing. They're probably sitting there a little anxious, feeling uncomfortable. So taking a deep breath, saying, it's okay, we'll get through this. You know, sometimes these situations can be fraught with a lot of anxiety because, you know, maybe you haven't done all your homework for the semester, whatever it is. We have to remember that what we're doing as the adults is we are looking at this as we are building trust with our teens, and we are helping them with the skill of self-advocacy, right? So we're sort of taking them through this whole step, and we're there for the entirety of it. This is a situation where they're learning self-advocacy skills. The end of the semester is a situation, and we're helping them identify what do they need, who can help them, and how can they ask for help, right? So we're in there for the long haul. You may have to take a lot of deep breaths. This may be stressful. I know I'm taking a lot of deep breaths right now. So remember, who at Stevenson can help your teen and help you through any kind of anxiety that they're having for the next 10 days. Okay. First, the student services team. That's the counselor, psychologist, dean, social worker. This time can be stressful for a lot of different reasons, and your team may have to advocate for themselves in a lot of different reasons, Please remember your counselor is there all the time. If you feel your teen is just stressed and needs like an outlet, hey, on Friday at one part of the school, in room 6110, if you want to tell your teen this, they're going to have the comfort dogs. I don't know if petting a dog is something your teen might want to do or not, but it'll be there. On the other side of the school, in the College Career Center, is de-stress days. And so there will be something during lunch on Monday and Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there's all different activities. Like they'll be showing movies here. They'll be playing games. They're having cookie decorating. So all different things that the Student Services Department does to help kids not feel so stressed and just sort of release some of their stress. Also, if they want to talk to someone, go see their counselor. If you feel like you're worried about your teen, reach out to the counselor. In terms of academics, don't forget that we have tutors that your student can make an appointment with, either in person or via Zoom. So some of our students don't feel comfortable coming in and asking for help. Do it via Zoom. They're there. They all have appointments. It's on the academic services part of the website. Also reach out to the teacher if there's a question. Don't forget that the ILC, the library here, we have librarians that can help them with any kind of research they're doing, find a book, anything. Those resources are there for them. There's all sorts of resources on their iPads. And if their iPads are not working or there's a problem with them, remember the Smart Desk is there for them. That's in the link between the two buildings. That's a Smart Desk, and they can help them with their technology to make sure their technology is up to working standards. So I hope that this helped a little bit with at helping you think about how you can help your teen with self-advocacy skills. Remember, they need to identify what they need. Remember, identify what's their optimum learning environment, or what do they need to reach the goals that they have. They need to be able to identify who do they reach out to, and then they need to reach out and identify, this is how far I've gotten, this is where I'm stuck, and this is one small step that I need from you to help me get over the hump. Your role in it is to be their trusted advisor. Please try to be as supportive and neutral as possible. Remember, they're teens. They're going to be fraught with emotions. This is the way they are. This is a time for stress. It may not be their stress. They may be taking stress from their friends, but they need you in their life as a constant to help them through this and help them see that they can manage this and build the skills that'll help them get through even the next 10 days into their adulthood. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining me today. I hope it's helpful for you, and I hope we will see you again on Thursday. We won't be here tomorrow together tomorrow because I have a meeting that I have to be in, but Thursday we're going to talk about how do we help our teens manage their time, which is going to be really helpful because they'll probably spend a lot of time this weekend studying or finishing up assessments. And so how do we help our teens sort of think about their time, manage their time, so they can get everything done and not be too stressed, not be too harried. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining me. My name is Mara Grushanik. Reach out to me anytime if you have a question. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.